The moment I saw her sitting alone at that corner table, nervously checking her watch, I knew my kids had set me up. What I didn't know was that she'd lost her husband 2 years ago to the same rare heart condition that took my wife. If you're wondering how a prank orchestrated by 3 mischievous 12-year-olds led to the most profound connection I've experienced since becoming a widower, stick around. This story might just remind you that sometimes, life's most beautiful chapters begin when you least expect them. If this journey of unexpected love and healing resonates with you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps share these real-life stories that remind us all second chances come in the most surprising packages. My alarm blared at 5:30 a.m., same as every weekday for the past 4 years. I reached over to silence it before it woke the triplets, though these days they slept through almost anything. Teenagers soon, I reminded myself with a mixture of pride and terror. The house was quiet as I shuffled to the kitchen, my morning ritual unchanged since Melissa died. Coffee first, then lunch prep, then a quick shower before waking the kids for school. The rhythm of single parenthood had become second nature, though the emptiness beside me in bed never quite felt normal. "Dad, we need permission slip signed," called Emma, the first of my triplets to appear in the kitchen doorway, her curly hair, so like her mother's, still tangled from sleep. On the counter, I replied, sliding 3 brown paper bags across the island. "Turkey for you, PB&J for Aiden, ham and cheese for Zach." Emma rolled her eyes. "We're 12, Dad. We can make our own lunches." "I know you can. But it's our thing, right?" I smiled, though the truth was more complicated. Making their lunches gave me purpose, a small way to feel like I was still doing something right in this parenting journey that had become exponentially harder without Melissa. Aiden and Zach thundered down the stairs moments later, their identical faces flushed with excitement about something. They exchanged glances that immediately triggered my dad radar. "What are you 3 plotting?" I asked, narrowing my eyes as I poured milk into 3 cereal bowls. "Nothing," they chorused with such perfect synchronization that I knew it was definitely something. The morning proceeded normally enough, the usual rush to find missing shoes, homework assignments, and in Zach's case, his retainer, which turned up in the refrigerator for reasons none of us could explain. I dropped them at school with the customary, "Love you, learn something cool," send-off before heading to my architectural firm downtown. Work was busy, which was good. Busy meant less time to dwell on the empty house waiting for me, less time to notice how quiet my life had become outside of the kids. I'd thrown myself into my career after Melissa died, partly from necessity, 3 kids don't feed themselves, and partly because designing buildings gave me control in a world that had proven how little control I actually had. My phone buzzed around noon with a text from Emma, *, "Don't forget dinner tonight. We're all staying at Grandma's. Love you, *. I frowned. This was news to me. Before I could reply, another text came through, this time from my mother-in-law, Diane, *, "The kids are coming over after school. Said you had plans tonight? They'll be fine here, don't worry, *. Plans? I definitely didn't have plans. I called Diane immediately. "The kid said I had plans tonight?" Diane's laugh crackled through the phone. "That's what they told me. Something about you having dinner with a colleague? They were very insistent about staying over." A vague sense of unease settled over me. "I don't have dinner plans with anyone." "Well," Diane paused, "maybe you should. It's been 4 years, Jack. Melissa would want you to live your life." I sighed. We'd had this conversation before. I am living my life. I'm raising our kids. "You know what I mean," she said gently. "Anyway, the kids are excited about staying over. Let them have their fun, and you take a night off. Maybe order in, watch something other than those superhero movies the boys are obsessed with." After hanging up, I texted Emma back, *, "What plans are you talking about? And since when are you staying at Grandma's, *? Three dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then reappeared. Finally, *oops, forgot to tell you. Mr. Peterson from the office arranged dinner with a potential client. Super important. You mentioned it last week, I hadn't mentioned anything of the sort, and my boss, Peterson, certainly hadn't arranged any client dinners without discussing it with me first. The triplets were definitely up to something. Another text came through, this time with an address and time, Bella Luna, 7:30 p.m. Table reserved under Peterson. Don't be late, Bella Luna was an upscale Italian restaurant downtown, the kind of place I hadn't been to since before Melissa got sick. This was getting stranger by the minute. I called Peterson's office, but his assistant said he was in meetings all afternoon. I tried calling each of the kids, but none of them answered, another red flag. By 6 o'clock, curiosity had gotten the better of me. If the triplets had gone to this much trouble, I at least wanted to know what they were planning. I went home, showered, and found myself standing in front of my closet, realizing I hadn't worn anything but suits for work and casual clothes for home in years. In the back hung a navy blazer Melissa had bought me for our last anniversary before her diagnosis. Every man needs one good blazer, she'd said, adjusting the lapels as I tried it on. I slipped it on over a light blue button-down and a pair of dark jeans that still fit, thankfully. As I drove to the restaurant, I cycled through possibilities. Had the kids coordinated with Peterson on some kind of work recognition dinner? Was it a surprise birthday party? My birthday wasn't for months. Maybe they were trying to introduce me to someone's parent from school? The thought made me grip the steering wheel tighter. Bella Luna was busy for a Thursday night. The hostess smiled when I gave Peterson's name. Yes, your table is ready. Your dining companion hasn't arrived yet. Dining companion. Singular. This was definitely not a work event. She led me to a quiet corner table with a candle flickering in the center and handed me a wine list. Your server will be right with you. I sat there feeling increasingly foolish. My 12-year-old children had apparently set me up on a blind date. I was contemplating whether to leave when the hostess returned, leading a woman to my table. She was about my age, early 40s, with shoulder-length brown hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. She wore a simple black dress and looked as uncomfortable as I felt. You must be Jack, she said, extending her hand. I'm Claire. I believe we've been set up. I stood awkwardly, shaking her hand. I'm so sorry about this. My kids, they apparently decided I needed, well, this. Claire laughed, the sound genuine and warm. My daughter did the same. She's 13 and suddenly very concerned about my social life. She sat down across from me. She told me her math teacher wanted to discuss her progress over dinner. I should have known something was up when she insisted I wear this dress instead of my usual parent-teacher conference outfit. The tension in my shoulders eased slightly. I got a fake client dinner. Triplets, they ganged up on me. Her eyebrows rose. Triplets? Wow, that's a lot, I finished for her. Yeah, it is. The waiter appeared, saving us from the awkward pause that followed. We both ordered wine, and I found myself studying Claire as she looked over the menu. There was something familiar about her, though I was certain we'd never met. So, I said after the waiter left, do we know how our kids know each other? Claire tilted her head. Lily, my daughter, goes to Westlake Middle. 7th grade. That's where my 3 go. They're in 6th grade, Emma, Aiden, and Zach. Recognition flashed across her face. The Mitchell triplets? Lily talks about Emma all the time. They're in the same art club. I nodded, pieces falling into place. That explains it. Emma's been spending a lot of time on art projects lately. I assumed it was for school. Apparently they were plotting instead, Claire said with a small smile. Lily's been acting suspicious for weeks. Now I know why. Our wine arrived, and an awkward silence fell between us. I hadn't been on a date in nearly 15 years. I had no idea what to say. Claire took a sip of her wine and then set the glass down decisively. Look, this is weird, right? Our kids ambushing us like this? Definitely weird, I agreed, relieved she'd addressed the elephant in the room. So let's just enjoy a nice dinner, compare notes on raising middle schoolers, and then we can tell our children we had a lovely time but we're not ready to date. No pressure. The knot in my chest loosened. That sounds perfect. With the pressure off, conversation flowed more easily. Claire was a pediatric nurse, which explained her easy way of making me feel comfortable. She'd moved to our town 3 years ago after her husband died. Cancer, she said simply when the subject came up. It was quick, which was a blessing and a curse. Not much time to prepare Lily, or myself, really. I'm sorry, I said, meaning it. My wife had a congenital heart condition. We knew it could be a problem someday, but someday always seems far away until suddenly it's not. Claire nodded, understanding in her eyes. How long ago? 4 years next month. 2 years for me. She twisted her wine glass stem between her fingers. Does it get easier? Everyone says it does. I considered this. Not easier. Different. The grief changes shape. Some days it's right there in front of you, impossible to see around. Other days it's more like a shadow that follows you but lets you move forward. That's the most honest answer anyone's given me, she said quietly. The conversation shifted to our kids, common ground that felt safer. I told her about the triplets' distinct personalities, Emma the artist and peacemaker, Aiden the scientist always taking things apart, Zach the storyteller who could talk his way out of almost any trouble. They sound amazing, Claire said. Lily's my only one. We tried for years before she came along, and then after her, nothing worked. David, my husband, used to joke that she was so perfect, the universe knew we didn't need another. The universe has a strange sense of humor, I said. Melissa and I planned for 1 baby, maybe 2 eventually. When the doctor told us it was triplets, I nearly passed out. Claire laughed. I can imagine. Lily's 13 going on 30. I can't imagine having 3 teenagers at once. I try not to think about it, I admitted. One day at a time. Our entrees arrived, and I realized we'd been talking for over an hour. It had been so long since I'd had an adult conversation that wasn't about work or the kids' schedules. Claire was easy to talk to, and I found myself sharing stories I hadn't told anyone since Melissa died. The triplets were maybe 3, I said, and Melissa had this system for bath time, an assembly line, basically. I was drying and dressing while she washed. One night I turned around for just a second, and all 3 of them made a break for it. Naked, soaking wet, screaming with laughter as they ran through the house. Melissa and I were chasing them with towels, slipping on wet floors. We finally cornered them in the kitchen, and Melissa just looked at me and started laughing so hard she couldn't stand up. I stopped, surprised by the memory and how it didn't hurt to share it. Claire was smiling, not with pity but with genuine amusement. Lily went through a phase where she refused to wear anything but her ballet tutu, to school, to the grocery store, to bed. David was so soft-hearted, he couldn't say no to her. I'd come home from work and find them both in tutus, having a tea party. The image made me laugh out loud. Please tell me there are pictures. Oh, there are pictures, Claire confirmed with a grin. Safely stored for future boyfriend intimidation purposes. Dessert came and went, and I was surprised to find I didn't want the evening to end. When the check arrived, we both reached for it. My kid's prank, my treat, I insisted. Claire shook her head. My daughter was clearly in on it too. We'll split it. Outside the restaurant, the night air was cool and clear. We stood awkwardly on the sidewalk, the comfortable rapport of dinner suddenly uncertain in the context of a goodbye. "I had a really nice time," Claire said finally. "Unexpected, but nice." "Me too," I admitted. "The triplets might be grounded for their deception, but I can't be too mad at them." Claire smiled. "I should get home. Lily will be waiting up, pretending she's not dying to know how it went." "Same with my three. They're supposedly at their grandmother's, but I guarantee they're still awake, texting each other about whether their plan worked." We stood there a moment longer, neither quite ready to leave. "Would you?" I started, just as Claire said, "Maybe we could." We both stopped, laughed nervously. "You first," Claire said. I took a deep breath. "Would you like to do this again sometime? Without the kids scheming?" The smile that spread across her face made something long dormant stir in my chest. "I'd like that," she said. "Very much." We exchanged numbers, and I watched her walk to her car before heading to my own. As I drove to pick up the triplets from Diane's house, I realized I was smiling. For the first time in 4 years, I was looking forward to something that wasn't about work or the kids. The triplets were indeed still awake when I arrived, trying and failing to look innocent as they peppered me with questions about my work dinner. "How was the client, Dad?" Zach asked, his attempt at casualness undermined by the grin he couldn't suppress. "Did you have a good time?" Emma added, studying my face intently. "Was the food good at that restaurant?" Aiden chimed in. "I heard they have great pasta." I crossed my arms, giving them my best stern dad look. "You three are in big trouble for lying." Their faces fell in perfect synchronization. "But," I continued, unable to maintain the facade, "I did have a nice time." The living room erupted in cheers and high fives. "I knew it!" Emma exclaimed. "Lily said her mom was really nice and really pretty." "And smart," Aiden added. "She's a nurse who knows about all kinds of gross medical stuff." "And she likes Star Wars," Zach said. "Lily told us." I shook my head in amazement. "How long have you three been planning this?" They exchanged glances. "A month," Emma admitted. "Since I met Lily in art club and found out her dad died like Mom did." "We just thought you seemed lonely," Aiden said, suddenly serious. "And we're going to be teenagers soon," Zach added. "Grandma says that's when kids get really annoying." "You're already really annoying," I said, but I pulled them into a group hug. "But I love you anyway." Later, after we'd gone home and the kids were finally in bed, I sat on the back porch looking at the stars. My phone buzzed with a text from Claire, Lily just finished her interrogation. "Apparently our children have been plotting this for weeks. Should we be impressed or terrified by their organizational skills? I smiled as I typed back, both. Definitely both. They're probably already planning our second date, Her response came quickly, we should probably beat them to it. "Coffee this weekend? Looking up at the night sky, I felt something I hadn't experienced in a long time, possibility. "I'd like that," I replied. "Very much." Claire and I took things slowly. Coffee led to walks in the park, which led to family movie nights with all 5 kids, which eventually led to dinner at my house where Claire taught the triplets how to make her famous lasagna while I watched in amazement as my kitchen filled with laughter again. 6 months after our kids' prank, I took Claire back to Bella Luna. This time, I'd made the reservation myself. "You know the kids are going to be unbearably smug about this," Claire said as we settled into the same corner table where we'd first met. "They deserve to be a little smug," I admitted. "They saw something we didn't." Claire reached across the table and took my hand. "What's that?" "That we were both stuck. Living for